listening to the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast, a podcast in sisterhood for female entrepreneurs that serves up savvy, actionable marketing advice and interviews with creative business owners who are in the trenches, building their businesses as we speak. The Marketing in Yoga Pants community is for you, the girl on her couch, in her yoga pants, top knot tight, hunched over her MacBook, trying her hardest to get the word out about her business. So in the name of supporting each other while supporting ourselves, bringing community, sound marketing advice, coffee, chocolate, and wine together for you, yoga pants wearing business owner, in a world where followers mean nothing, but paying customers mean the world, join us on this week's podcast episode and in our private Facebook group where you'll meet your soul sisters and build your business in yoga pants. Okay, welcome to another episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. I'm Britt Colo, and I'm here today with Rachael K. Albers, the founder of RKA Inc. Thank you so much for joining me today, Rachael.
Hey, great to be here. Thank you.
Awesome. So I met Rachael through a Facebook group originally, and then I don't remember what happened, but we hopped on a Zoom call one day just because we were like, "Hey, girl, hey, let's talk to each other." And you guys, you just have to know, Rachael is a ball of energy. She is a spitfire. She is always so much fun to talk to and watch in her videos. It's just so much fun. So I'm so pumped to have her here today. Get to get some insight into her business, what she does, a little bit of her marketing strategy, and what makes it all tick. So, Rach, you ready to jump in?
Boom. Hey, it's me, RKA.
Let's do this. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So first of all, Rach, tell me how you earn your living.
I am a web designer and a digital strategist. So I help small businesses create unforgettable brands and click-worthy web presences. That's it.
Boom. Like right in just one, you got that down. You went to a networking event the other day, so you were probably like practicing
you know
that.
What? I actually didn't. And it was funny. I was a networking event it was a WordPress event for other designers. Right. And so somebody was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "I'm a web designer." And they were like, "Cool." And I'm like, "Cool. Don't patronize me. Everyone in this room is a web designer." But I had no elevator pitch. I wasn't prepared.
That one was really good. So I love it. This is so good for listeners to hear too, because I think a lot of times we listen into a podcast and we think that the people that are on the podcast like have everything together and never make mistakes and never do anything wrong. And that's not true, right? Like we're all the girl, like I was saying before, we are all the girls sitting on our couch trying to figure this stuff out. So awesome. Yes. And I can definitely vouch for your web design skills, girlfriend. They are, I mean, they're beyond, they're amazing. So, okay. So since web development is your jam, tell me the story of how you came to be doing this with your life.
Well, I wish I could say I had I always dreamed since I was a little girl before websites even existed, because that's what happened when I was a little girl. I wish I could say that I dreamed of this my whole life. Actually, I don't wish I could say it because that would not be true. 8 years ago, or it was almost 9 years ago, I was in law school at the time, studying to be a lawyer, and I got an internship in southern Mexico and working with women and youth. And so I went down there for the summer to do this internship. And in the process of that summer, realized I didn't want to be a lawyer and I'd rather do anything but. And so that was painful. I came back up, kept trying my hand at it. And, I came to a breaking point one day. I was like, I can't. I want to go back to Mexico. I was doing nonprofit work with, as I said, young women and kids and youth. And so I just up and moved. I did it. I just sold all my stuff and I moved to Mexico. And the truth is I had to find a way to stay there. I was doing volunteer work. I wasn't getting paid. And so, I had these skills and I thought, how do I stay in Mexico? How do I do this? Oh, I can do stuff. I can do stuff remotely. I can do stuff online. And that's really how the business was born. And that was it.
Wow. Okay. So you just up and left the States and you moved to Mexico.
I did.
Holy smokes. All right. So tell me the story of how you got your very first client. Like, how did you make your first dollar on your own?
Yeah. Well, Elance, which is now defunct. I think Elance became Upwork, but I was one of those. I just went and went through, I had so many jobs where I was working for like 40 cents a minute or something. When you broke it all down, I did some crazy stuff. And my very first client, first few clients were just random odd jobs on Elance. They weren't my dream jobs. I will say that. It wasn't high level stuff. It just was like, I think I wrote so many blog posts about like the difference between mace and pepper spray, I think was one of them. I transcribed like these auto videos. I became an expert on muscle cars because I transcribed all these auto videos back when there wasn't like, now there are robots that will do that for you. But back in the day, real people did it. And I was one of them. I no longer know anything about muscle cars. I blacked it out. It was that kind of stuff.
So you were just hustling. You were just hustling and you were figuring it out. Okay. All right. And so then you go from, connect the dots for me. You go from Mexico, working online, just trying to scrape some things together, doing whatever you can, however you can, to today as you're continuing to build and running a successful web design company. Yes.
So basically what happened was, and again, I never dreamed of being a small business owner. A lot of people, that's a story for a lot of people, like, oh, they're at their job and they just want to quit and they want to get rid of their 9-to-5 and go it on their own. Never. I never had that dream at all. It's sort of like small business ownership like came to me, and running a company was never the goal actually at the gate either. But as time went on, so I had a few of those clients that I got freelance that kind of started as like odd job clients, and I was kind of like a makeshift VA, and I didn't even know what a VA was. So, that's what I was. Now looking back, and what started to happen was, as my clients were the ones that kind of saw the talent and the skill in me, and they were like, okay, you did really well at this. Maybe you could try this, and maybe you could try that. And I started just being the girl Friday, so like the everything girl to my clients. And when I was in high school and I was grounded for the summer because I don't know, I like smarted off to my dad or something. I was grounded all summer and I taught myself to code back in the HTML days. And so some of these clients that needed me for these odd jobs were like, I need this new website. Can you put it together? And I had this coding background. And so I was like, hey, yeah, I can figure it out. And through that, I realized like of all of the odd jobs I was doing, some of them were more painful than others. The web design, the marketing strategy, that kind of world, it was just, I could spend all day and all night, and I did, doing it, and I didn't feel like I wanted to die. So that's how it became, like that's how I transitioned into focusing specifically on web design and marketing strategy, because it was the thing I did that didn't make me want to end it all. Isn't that a good story?
That's pretty telling. That's a good direction teller. I like it.
Yeah. And there were things, back in the day, I actually called myself a copywriter, which I am not. Thank you very much. I'm glad that's off my docket. But I did do copywriting and ghostwriting, and it was like, oh my gosh. I ghostwrote a few books for people, and it was like, it would take me weeks to create just a few pages of copy. It was really hard for me, and yet this, the strategy and the design stuff just kind of rolled off. So yeah, it is telling, it really is.
Yeah. So finding those strengths. So now as you're running your business, what's working for you to market it?
It's a combo of content marketing. Gotta do it. You gotta do it.
What are you doing for content marketing?
I'm a blogger. I do the blog thing, and And I've just started to, make my way into the world of Facebook Lives, getting into that, bringing a video into the game. I'm playing with it. So I've been doing that. And that actually, that works really well for me. I think one thing I tell my clients a lot is they get really caught up. I mean, quantity is important. The more you can create content, the better. But really, you can rank for one successful article. If you have one blog that really lands with people and really commands their attention, that blog alone can bring you business for years. And I've experienced that myself. I've done some trial and error, and just a few blogs that really land with people still bring me business all year long. So that really works for me. And word of mouth, relationships, baby. That's it. That's really the heart. That's really like the big driver for any small business. I think all of my clients, even though they're using marketing strategies, and I don't know if it's the same thing for you with your clients, but even though they're using a wide range of strategies to kind of augment the word of mouth, ultimately at the end of the day, word of mouth is gold. That's really where the good juice comes from. So yeah.
Oh, absolutely. I completely agree. In my business and of my clients' businesses, people have to at least know about you to find, to then find the other stuff that you're creating, your content marketing, your Facebook Lives, all of the other things. And so when they do get that personal referral, obviously that's a high end, like, okay, I'm going to go check this girl out because this person that I already trust, thinks she's worth my time. And then to not just have, not just a little shingle in the window, but all of this other content behind you. So when people do land on your site or your Facebook page or your Instagram or whatever it is, it's supported. It's like, whoa, this girl has it going on. Like, okay, she knows what she's doing. Yeah. So amen to that. Totally. I totally support that. Okay. So let's shift a minute and talk about the work that you do. What are you working on right now? Where's your focus at?
I'm working on a buttload of websites. I hope you don't have to bleep that out. Buttload, is that okay? Can we say that?
We're keeping
on the
buttload.
Air? Okay. Buttloads everywhere. Yeah, I got a lot of websites. I have a signature process that I've been working on and kind of tweaking and refining, and it is a process that helps lead people through kind of preparing for. Well, let me back up. Oftentimes, I like to say that like websites are a gateway drug. Like people come into the door with me thinking that they just need a website, and then really quickly we determine, they have no idea like what to do with a business plan, or they just don't know what their brand is about, or they have no idea how they're going to get people to the site, or what they want them to do there, or what their strategy is. And so through kind of working with clients over the years, I started creating the signature process, which leads people through all those things before we ever even touch design. And so that is a thing. It's not just called Ink Splash. It's a real thing. And I'm using it with my clients, and I'm tweaking and refining and making it even better with the intention of maybe turning it into something that people who don't work with me for a website could also use to be more successful online and get themselves up and running. So that's behind the scenes what I'm doing.
I love you. Okay, here is what I want to pull out of this for listeners. Two things. Number one, I love the term signature process. I really like that, and here's why. I don't think I've ever really heard it said that way, but here's why. Because you are essentially the person behind the business doing the things. You have a team, right? You have people that you out, right? But you have this thing that you do, and it's called web design. But over time, you've figured out this pattern, and you are now turning it into a signature process, which then is stars aligned, scalable, right? Which is not always where people want to take their businesses, but for those of you that do want to scale your business and not have it always be on your own shoulders, to do and do and do. It's this signature process that you're looking for. And you just said it. It's just through working through these experiences, working with a ton of clients, a buttload of clients. Buttload and picking up on so many giggles happening right now listening to this. You're picking up on these patterns, not necessarily just to monetize it, but to help these people. Because if you're finding a pattern, like these common questions and this common place where these people are coming to you, and you know that you can help them, man, that's what entrepreneurship is all about, right? Is meeting that need.
Yes.
So, amen, sister. I love it. And the other thing I want to.
Oh, sorry. No. Yes, please.
Oh, sorry. I'm totally taking over right now.
Rip
the second thing I want to pull out of this is just because you have this idea for a business and you think like, oh, I got to have a website. Yeah, you probably do. But I want to send you over to rkainc.com and have a conversation with Rachael, because you get it that the website is not going to solve all your problems, right? That is, it's just not going to solve all your problems. And I understand, I hear it from new business owners all the time that they think, well, I have this idea, so I need a website, and then all my dreams are going to come true. It just does not work that way. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I love your take there. What were you gonna go after?
So we're just overwhelmed with
just so many
right
things.
Now. It's all the, yes, and I will be the first person to talk someone out of dropping their marketing budget on a website thinking it's going to solve their problems. Like, yes, you do need a website. You're starting a business, you absolutely need one. Do you need one that is custom designed and is costing you $5,000 to $10,000? No, definitely not out the gate. Now, there's a place for that, and your business will get to that point. If you keep it up, keep hustling, keep hitting the ground, you will. There is a time and a place. You can't build an empire with a Wix website, but like all the way to the finish line, but you can start it that way. And you should, and honestly, I often recommend that you do that, but I don't recommend Wix, I recommend Squarespace.
Yes, amen, me too.
but it's just an example. But what I wanted to say before about the signature process, and, said some people don't want to do that. I was the one. I never wanted to scale. Not scale. I mean, sure, who doesn't want to scale? Who doesn't want to make money when they're asleep, right?
Yeah.
But I was never I didn't want to create a course. I didn't want to create a program. I didn't want to create a product. I really felt a lot of resistance to it. And Inksplash was truly, honestly, from the bottom of my heart, born out of a deep desire to serve my clients better. Like, I could not sleep at night knowing that people were spending, as I said, all their marketing budget on my services, and like knowing that they really were not equipped for success. And so I created Inksplash to be able to, sleep, because I need it. I'm in my 30s now. It just, it ain't what it used to be, girl, So I need to sleep, and I need to sleep well. And I created it, I created that for that reason, because I wanted to help my clients be more successful. Like, I didn't care. I mean, it doesn't really serve me if somebody comes in and spends a bunch of money on me. Like, sure, I have the money, but it doesn't really serve my business long-term if they don't get results. Like, it helps me if my clients get results, and it helps me sleep. And what I would add on to this is, I think there is like such a rush to move into scaling before you've worked with lots of clients, before you've gotten into it. And as you said, notice the patterns, notice the, worked with enough people to say, oh gosh, yes, this is how I know, because I've done it, and because I've seen it, and because I've experienced it, this thing, this process, this system, this whatever it is, really helps people. And I think there's so many people that want to like skip over that, and they've heard some fancy marketers say, oh, just launch a course and you'll make $1 million overnight and you can scale and blah, blah, blah. Like, I'm not about it. You got to serve your people. And by serving your people, like the process, the signature process, if that's what you want to call it, which I didn't even know I said that. But that process, it will emerge. It will happen to you. It'll be born out of need. It won't be born out of like the desire to not work and like just have money coming into your bank account. You know what I'm saying?
It will be born out of you getting in there, getting your hands dirty and doing the thing.
Yes.
Figuring
Yes.
out the systems.
Yes.
And noticing the patterns. Right on. Right
Mm-hmm.
on. All right. So that's what you're focusing on right now. What is next for you? Are you looking at any new projects, new learning opportunities, goals you've set? What's out there in the future?
Yeah. I mean, this is the future. We're in the future. Like, guess what? We're in the future again and again. And here we are. It's the future. I'm kidding. I'm just messing. Every second that goes by, we're in the future over and over again. Isn't that crazy? Oh my gosh.
Mind blown right now.
Well, actually, so, I mean, the Inksplash really is the future for me. Right now, Inksplash is serving people who are working directly with me on their websites. And the vision is to be able to bring this to a larger audience so that, I mean, being constantly creative and constantly having to invent amazing new designs for people, it is exhausting. I will tell you that, girl. I mean, I never thought that I'd be the type of designer to reach maybe a point where burnout was happening to me, but if I'm not careful, it's coming my way. So there is a vision of taking this and making it something that somebody who doesn't have that big budget to spend on the whole experience with me can still learn a lot, get a ton of value, and get all my best practices. And yeah, so, moving more into that one-to-many model, that's what's on the horizon, my friend. And hopefully you'll see me speaking at some events near you in the future. That's a dream. I'm just going to put that out there into the universe.
Throw that out there. And
let it simmer. Let it percolate.
I like it. Yes. So I feel like just hearing that you and I are somewhat on a similar trajectory. I agree in that that process, that signature process, that deeper calling, it may be that first thing that you do, that first business, that first way that you earn your own dollar on your own, in your own way. But more often than not, I think it evolves, and you don't necessarily see it evolving until it has. And then it's like, wait a second, there's this other thing. In my experience, I started the marketing agency knowing that was really more a stepping stone for something different. But I didn't know what that different was. Like, I didn't know what it was going to look like until just a couple months ago when I started thinking about, wow, I'm really connecting on a visceral level. Like, I feel so good when I'm connecting with female entrepreneurs just getting started, and just grinding it out. Like, I feel like I'm in my zone, and I feel like I need to help them more. And I can't really with the services that I do right now. So what could I do? And you're right. It just kind of, it evolves and it shows itself to you without you having to force it. And then it's up to you to bring it to the world if that's really in your heart. So yeah, amen. Awesome. Okay, I want to lighten things up with just some quick, easy questions, and I can't wait to
this is heavy, girl.
So heavy. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
It's real stuff, but here's some funness. Okay, so tell me, what is your absolute favorite business tool you're using right now?
I'm going to say Facebook Live. Yep, Facebook Live, loving it.
Really?
Love to hate it, hate to love it. Love it.
I am so excited to hear you say that, because it is so nerve-wracking, but yet you're still embracing it. Like, it's hard, but you're still embracing it and you're loving it. Awesome. I think I already know this answer, but I'm going to ask it. I'm going to ask the question anyway. Are you an introvert or an extrovert?
I'm all extra, baby.
Yeah.
Extra.
Totally.
Read all about it. Yep.
Obviously, we could tell. Early bird or night owl?
Oh, I'm an early bird with a night owl soul. Put it that way.
Explain yourself.
So as I said, I'm in my 30s. Something happened to me, all right, where I suddenly just started getting up at 5:30 in the morning. Is this like pre-motherhood? Is my body preparing itself? I don't know. But yeah, but in my heart, I'm a night owl. Like, I'm a little mad at my body that it's like, I used to be, late nights. I loved the stillness and the darkness. And like, I used to be super productive at night. But yeah, as I said, something has happened to my bod. And now I'm just naturally waking up early. You know what? It's okay though.
Do you know how many people are so jealous of you right now? Like, I wish I could just all of a sudden wake up early.
Well, it can happen.
But then at the same time, I'm like, I wish I could stay up just a little bit later and not be such a grouch after 7 p.m. But you know what?
The grass is always greener.
I know, right? Okay.
The owl's always greener. That's, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Ah, there we go. Okay, I want to know, where do you find your flow in your work? Those moments where you put your head down and all of a sudden you pick it back up and 5 hours have flown by and you're just like, whoa, that was awesome. Where does that happen for you?
This is going to be a weird answer, but in front on, this is so weird. I've got this beautiful office, but my flow happens on my couch in front of a Netflix series. When I know I need to get like a long day of design done or a long day of development done, for example, as opposed to like little, pomodoring my life, I put on a show and I binge through and I get it. Yeah. Netflix, baby.
Man, I am so encouraged for you to say that, because why is there such a stigma around sitting on your couch and getting your work done? Like, I get that our parents never did that.
That's it.
And I get that most of our friends and most of our peers are off in their offices somewhere getting paid by someone else, but we are not. And so why do we feel, I'm getting better at this now, but I remember and it still kind of creeps up on me a little bit, where I do feel a little bit of guilt to sit down in front of the TV with something nonsensical out there. I'm kind of listening, but I'm not really watching, and I'm getting work done. And that feels so good. Why is there such guilt around it, though? I'm so glad to hear you say, like, no, baby, that is where it's at.
I just started to own this myself, too. And I do think it's like my dad's voice in my head, like, get a job, know? And it was finally, and maybe it's like it was finally after I've been doing this for 8 years now, like where I think I finally convinced my dad that I really do have a job. And he's jealous. He's like, what? Like, I was telling him recently how much I love running my own business, because I feel like it's like all the convergence of all of my talents, all of my skills. Like, I would never have found a job where I could truly utilize every single talent that I have, and I really love it. And in other areas of my life before I found this, I kind of felt like a pawn. And he was like, oh, I feel like a pawn. He was like pissed. He was like, oh, I'm a pawn, darn it.
Yeah.
And so, he's a little bit jealous. So I think that honestly, our parents' generation, they're just jealous. We got to let it go. We got to shake it off.
Yeah.
And you know what? If that's where the money's made, if I'm making progress and I'm productive, boom, do it. Netflix, no shame. I'm actually, that's a blog post that I'm going to be creating in the next few weeks. I want to write like top 10 shows to binge while you're working for this exact reason. I'm going to turn this around.
That's going to hit some, I like it. That's
going to turn this around on you.
People. Okay.
What show do you watch? Because clearly we're in this together. What nonsensical thing do you put on in the background to work with?
Okay. So it's been many things over, the times. Mm-hmm. One of my absolute favorite series is Mad Men. Like, I just loved Mad Men too. But here's the thing. I got so into it, I stopped working and I wanted to watch it. Right. But it was so good. And I've gone back and I've started watching it again every once in a while. Like, I'll just put on an episode of Mad Men. It just makes me happy. Like, I just love it. Yes, yeah. All the hearts
for Mad Men.
Right now, this is so goofy, but right now I've been binge watching Army Wives. Do you remember that show on ABC?
Oh, yes.
It's super dramatic, and it's almost It's super dramatic and kind of cheesy, but man, is it a good one to work to. Like, I got wrapped up into those characters, and the stuff that goes on in their life is way worse than the stuff that goes on in my life. It's entertaining, and I don't really have to actually watch it to know what's going on. So
there you go. Yeah, you can't binge to something with subtitles, unfortunately. You gotta watch yourself with that. Not that Mad Men has subtitles, but yeah, no, actually I binged quite a bit to Mad Men in like 2013 or something. I remember I worked in Mexico. This is before I turned into a morning owl, but or morning bird. What do you call? I don't know.
Early bird.
Early bird.
There we go.
Oh, morning bird. That's going to be my new brand. No, I worked at a hotel. I worked the night shift because they allowed me to work on my web design stuff at the same time. So I was like doubling it up. And I remember working, it was like 3 a.m, and it's me and John Hamm, and we're doing it together. So lots of love for Mad Men. I'm all about Shameless right now. I'm into Shameless. That's my binge. That's my thing. It's all on Netflix. So I had to give it a little shout out there because I'm getting affiliate money for mentioning Shameless on podcasts. So I just need to say I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Oh,
So wouldn't that be
that's
great?
That's definitely
though?
not a thing.
Yes, it is. I'm an influencer. Hey.
Well, yeah, but not for Shameless on podcast. Yes, I've heard a lot of things about Shameless. I know. Yeah, that's true. Maybe next time.
I am going to reach out to Showtime now and be like, listen, I'm doing this for free. Throw me some bones. All right.
Seriously. Yeah, you do that. And maybe I'll get something too. No. Okay. Awesome. All right. So before we wrap up, one last question. So I want you to look back on, get the Zen face going. I want you to look back on when you first started what you would consider your starting point of your business. I want you to talk to that girl on her couch, hunched over her MacBook, trying to figure this thing out. What would you say to her? What advice would you give her? Girl, you got to start blogging. Blog now, blog early, blog often. It is the gift that keeps on giving. Me today would be looking back on that girl being like, thank you, girl, thank you. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it in those early days. Got to create that content early. Get out there and start getting visible and start getting in front of people and start creating content for yourself on your own platform. Don't rely on just social media. Like, don't rely on your Facebook, to push you forward. You got to create it on your own platform. I know that's not like, groundbreaking, like, girl, it's going to be okay. I mean, yeah, I'm sure other people have that advice too. Like, it is going to be okay. And she knows it. She's okay. But I would say start creating content now. It is the gift that keeps on giving, and your future self will thank you. Phenomenal advice. I 100% agree and support that. So before we go, could you please tell the listeners where they can find you online? You can find me at rkaink.com. Check me out. And I would say head over to, if you're kind of in the place where you're like, should I hire a web designer? Do I need RK's services? Am I sure? I don't know. I would go to don'thireawebdesigner.com and check it out because I've got a little ebook there for you, kind of laying out what you need to do before you make that big investment. Got to do it. Don'thireawebdesigner.com. I just double plugged. I hope it's okay. I hope it's all right with the double plug. Did a double plug. I love this double plug. I'm fine with double plugs, but this is why I love it so much. You are a web design. Okay, listeners, she's a web designer. Her entire brand, her entire livelihood is because she's a web designer. And she owns the domain don'thireawebdesigner.com. Because she understands how this stuff works and she genuinely wants the best for her clients. I am so impressed by that. And I downloaded that ebook way back when we first met, and I thought it was groundbreaking. It was like, holy smokes, I need to print this out and just look at it. And it made me think like, wow, what did I skip over? And before I started, I got my website up and running, and it's like, wow, yeah, you know what? I need to go back and I need to look at this stuff. So I'm prepared to be able to use my website as it's supposed to be used. Yeah. So, go there. I love it. Thank you so much. You heard her, girls. Go check her out. Send her some love, and then hop into our private Facebook group to hear more from Rachael. She'll be in there over the next few days, along with all of the rest of us, supporting you, helping you out, getting this business off the ground. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Keep the conversation going by visiting marketingin.yogapants.com/Facebook, where you'll get to join that private Facebook group I've been talking so much about. There, you'll get to chat with our podcast guests. Yeah, they're in there too, and all of the other brilliant creative business owners. We're connecting, we're meeting our soul sisters, and we're building our businesses, all while in yoga pants. So come hang out with us. Again, visit marketingin.yogapants.com/Facebook to get in. And one more thing. If you dig this podcast, would you be awesome and share it with someone? This entire Marketing in Yoga Pants movement is nothing without its community. So please share. And if you're really feeling the love right now, jump into iTunes. You're probably already there if you're listening to this right now. And leave us a rating and review. The more of those we rack up, the more the podcast will be found by ladies like you, and the stronger this community becomes. This episode was edited and produced by the Podcast Engineers. They're pretty great, so go find them at podcastengineers.com. This episode was also brought to you by my online marketing agency, Jam Marketing Group, and you can find us at jammarketinggroup.co. That's all for now. Thanks for listening, and I'll catch you back here next week on the Marketing in Yoga Pants podcast. Love ya. Bye.